பேரலை நேயர்களுக்கு வணக்கம். இன்றைக்கு நம்மோட சிறப்பு விருந்தினராக பங்களா பொக்கோ அமைப்பினுடைய நிறுவனர், தலைவர், ஒருங்கிணைப்பாளர் திரு கார்கா சாட்டர்ஜி அவர்கள் இணைந்திருக்கிறார். அவரோடு ஆங்கிலத்தில் இன்றைக்கு ஒரு உரையாடல். Sir, it's been a long time since we have spoken. It's a great pleasure to meet you.
Same here. Greetings to my Tamil brothers and sisters.
You are the only state who are voicing out against the NEET except Tamil Nadu. Why that, and why you are opposing the NEET?
First of all, let me say why in West Bengal after Tamil Nadu. When Hindi imperialism, Delhi, through its mechanisms, wants to create, wants to give all the resources, be it medical college seats, be it the nursing seats, be it IAS officers, whatever resources, it wants to give to a certain class, which is CBSC, which is urban, which is rich. And when we say it is CBSC, it means it also, even if it is Tamil in Tamil Nadu or Bengali in West Bengal, it will be a rootless class, will not be well versed in Tamil or Bangla, will not know the names of the districts of Tamil Nadu or West Bengal, that class, that urban rootless class. So they are trying to create more collaborators. Imperialism always thrives on collaborators, because, for example, remember, British had landlords, through that. So Hindi imperialism also needs local collaborators who would not be thinking that they are collaborators. They are thinking that they are going up. Now the question is, but the people who are getting removed from the system, whose dreams are getting shattered, they are the stupendous majority, 90% or more of any state. The anger and the deprivation is uniform in non-Hindi states. What is not uniform is an active nationalist movement to organize this anger and this destruction of dreams into a protest and resistance. Tamil Nadu has always had a long history and tradition, and also a thriving Tamil or Dravidian nationalist scene, political scene. So in Bengal, the rise of Bengali nationalism has been very fast. Bangla Pokho has basically, in a way, I wouldn't say created it, but given shape to it, and then has led it. And the results you see now, where people should remember that this is not only this time. When S. Anita, our sister, we consider her a martyr, not a person who committed suicide, but a martyr in the long multi-dimensional and multi-pronged and multi-layered struggle against Hindi imperialism. It was in West Bengal, same year, few days after her martyrdom, that Bangla Pokho led a protest with her picture. So this is we have a longer history of being in protest on the question of NEET, because NEET is not only a medical exam question. The ultimate aim is two-pronged: to take away all kinds of resources from the real sons and daughters of the soil, and number two, to destroy the state board so that the state boards cannot produce the intellectuals, the technicians, the movers and shakers, the infrastructure of Tamil society in future. Delhi will produce it. That is the reason. So that is how we view NEET, and it is NEET is only the mask of a much larger monster, and that monster has many masks. One mask is called NEET, one mask is called IAS, one mask is called IPL, one mask is called Bollywood, one mask is called CBSC. There are many masks. One mask is called NDTV, Republic TV, all of that. Many masks.
Yes, NEET is one of the masks, as you said. You have also appreciated Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin in your protest as a commander stalwart. Stalin is acting as a commander stalwart of the non-Hindi speaking states and its rights. what's your view about MK Stalin, and what is the nation thinking about him? Is he eligible to oppose Modi in the next election?
Two separate questions. I will take them separately. One is that the non-Hindi anger against Hindi imperialism is very widespread. So whenever non-Hindi people find a voice that resonates with them, they look up to him. Right? So sometimes it is the Chief Minister of West Bengal. Sometimes it has been H.D. Devagowda. But I think the clarity, sometimes it is Uddhav Thackeray. But earlier, sometimes it was N.T. Ramarao, M. Karunanidhi. Even earlier, we can go. So we have always had our stalwarts, Ashok Mitra here, Goni Khan. Yeah. But in this crucial juncture, somebody had to bail the cat. See, the army of resistance is there, but they are helter-skelter. One needs a commander. So that we not only say what has happened, but under whom we can find the inspiration for resistance. See, NEET is bad for non-Hindi states. NEET is bad for poor background people. NEET is background for middle class. NEET is bad for students who cannot afford Fiji Akash. NEET is bad for people who cannot send their children through lakhs in Kota, Rajasthan. NEET is bad for people who are not part of Hindi-speaking state solver gangs. NEET is bad for people who are not part of the question paper leak circles from Delhi to Benares to Patna, all of that. We know this. This has been known. NEET is bad for non-Hindi state medium students. NEET is bad for... all of this has been known. I had predicted in a 2016 article in Scroll that these exactly will be the axis in which NEET will cause trouble. And I am very happy that the DMK government, under the leadership of MK Stalin, constituted a committee to look at this data objectively, and almost every point that Bangla Pokko had raised, that this will be the effect, that has been vindicated through data, because we should use data analysis and rational thought for solving any problem. So we need data. Everybody understands, but for Delhi you need to show data. Delhi may not agree, but the fact that Delhi does not agree to even data will show to every person how anti-people and irrational Delhi is, that there is some other motive. So in this great space where we knew that something was terribly wrong, we are very happy as Bengalis, as a Bengali nationalist organization. We have congratulated Thiru M.K. Stalin as taking over the mantleship of this fight against NEET, against Hindi imperialism. He has generated new energy in this movement. I'll tell you why. Why did Bangla Pokko do that movement yesterday, and it will spread all over in West Bengal? We have already done something, day before yesterday we had done the first inaugural program, and yesterday we did one again. Okay, so now it has started. We will do it in various districts. But that crucial push, that an alternative is possible, and from the highest state office, a state government and the state assembly unanimously takes a decision to say no to Delhi. Just like in Jallikattu, when Delhi had to basically bow down to Tamil wishes in Tamil Nadu. Similarly in NEET, we hope that Delhi will have to bow down to Tamil wishes in Tamil Nadu. It is very simple. Now the fact is, there are two parts to it. We did not want to get left behind. Tamils in Tamil Nadu get somehow manage to stop NEET. Then we are left with NEET. We are doomed. So we must join this bandwagon. He has shown a path. You know, when a commander leads his people, the army has to get bigger. That is when the commander will be successful. So we are very happy to follow in the leadership of MK Stalin on this NEET question. And he has been very vocal. He has even wear face mask which says ban NEET. You know, so he understands the issues, right? That's one part of the story. The other part of the story is, it is not as if that RSS president of India is waiting with his pen to sign this bill. It's not like that. Okay? He will most likely not sign. Most likely. That is my political reading. But if Bengal Assembly pushes such a bill, that is our demand to all parties in Bengal, and other states follow suit, then there will be a crisis. We want that issue because we need a solution. We are not interested in crisis, but we are interested in solution. It is very sad that Delhi is not leaving any method of solving a problem without creating a crisis. You can see it with the farmers movement. You know, so Delhi can do whatever in Hindi states. We do not care. In Rajasthan, if they want to make every city into their quota and their coaching institute, we do not care. You know, but in our land, our rules, because in our land, priority is our children, not their children. Bengal cannot take the responsibility of their children, number one. And number two, we cannot create a Delhi Dalal class and give all resources to them in the name of CBSE merit. There's a third aspect to it we often forget. Hindi states are completely lacking in health infrastructure, including medical seats. So, in Bengal, I do not know whether this problem is there for Tamil Nadu, but our Tamil brothers and sisters should understand that we are in a deeper problem. We are neighboring to Bihar, Jharkhand, UP. Lots of people have infiltrated into Bengal and they have created their own zones to the extent that they now have councillor, MLA, MP also. Which means domicile certificates are like, 5 rupees things. You understand what is the issue here?
Yeah.
So they are giving mass rate domicile certificate and they are getting into state quota.
Okay.
People from Bihar, Jharkhand, UP are getting into state quota. They are giving mass caste certificate. Non-Bengali, outside of Bengal, people are entering not only our medical seats but also our reserved medical seats in SC, OBC seats. It's a terrible situation. And that is due to the lack of the Bengali nationalist unity and resistance among the Bengali masses and its officialdom, and also this demographic capture that has happened in certain areas. All this needs to be reversed. It's a big fight. So this is a special aspect to it which the Tamils do not probably suffer but will appreciate. But one thing we both suffer is also the 15% seats, the so-called All India seats. Put them all together. We know that NEET kind of favors Hindi belt states, CBSE board, etc. All of that, which is all a kind of a favor towards the Hindi-speaking states. Now they don't have too many medical colleges, so they are not contributing to that 15% pool that much. We are contributing. You are contributing. But through that, they are taking this capture. Medical college seats in Tamil Nadu and West Bengal are paid for by people of Tamil Nadu and West Bengal, not by people of UP, Bihar and Haryana.
Yeah.
You have your own health department and education department to do it. If you think that the health problem and education problem of UP and Bihar needs to be solved by West Bengal, then give part of UP and Bihar to West Bengal and Tamil Nadu so that we can generate revenue and create the money. Otherwise, it cannot be our responsibility. Na? You say you take over our government, you are more efficient. You can create more resources for the people. So please do it. Just like some people who say, please rule us. Okay, we will think about it. But otherwise, it cannot happen. You cannot rule us. You know.
Yeah.
One, the second question I'm coming to. See, it is my belief that Delhi will never allow, because Delhi is deeper than BJP. The Delhi establishment is deeper than BJP. It will never allow an upright non-Hindi leader to become the Prime Minister of the Indian Union, who might have ideas like taking things from the concurrent list to the state list. You know, Delhi establishment, its think tank, its dalals, its universities, its media, it's everything. Its ecology, its industry, its crony capitalists. None of them really want it. So I do not think MK Stalin has any chance of becoming Prime Minister of the Indian Union. Not because he is not qualified. Not because he is not qualified, but because he is an upright Tamil. That is why. That is why. And so what should non-Hindi states or non-Hindi nationalities like us think in terms of, say, 2024? We want our interests served, the federal interests served. So in 2024, the government has to be such that non-Hindi states can unitedly control according to their will. I do not necessarily need a non-Hindi leader. I would much rather be for a non-Hindi blackmailer who can get our things done.
That is one different view, because it is very much understandable, and you have given one line that Delhi is deeper than BJP. It should be noted, and it is the thing that we have to discuss. As we see,
NEET was instituted by Congress.
Yeah.
Education was taken from state list to concurrent list by Congress.
Yes.
Hindi imperialism was its primary kind of let's say home was Congress for much of the time. With the decay of the Congress, then they have found a much more happier home in BJP, and they have transformed the organization, which, by the way, has also caused an interesting federalization of the Congress party itself. So Congress of Rajagopalachari, Congress of Indira Gandhi, Congress of Rajiv Gandhi, even Congress of Manmohan Singh and in power, and Congress of today is not the same. Congress out of Delhi power is an ally.
Yeah. As we can see, starting from demonetization, GST, now the NEET crisis, everything is imposed upon the non-Hindi speaking states, even on Hindi speaking states. It is an imperialistic move, as we see. Most of the states are opposing. Movements like Bangla Poko, DMK, and many other movements are opposing that. Even Congress is considering the state rights now. But do you think Modi is beatable in the upcoming union government elections? And how non-Hindi speaking states unity will beat him?
See, we are facing a very dangerous situation. Let us be very clear on it.
Yeah.
So there are two options, two questions to here. Is Modi or BJP, whatever, it is beatable or not, is the question. If we were simply taught by CBSE civic books, then we would think, if you tell people, people will decide, people will go vote, vote will have numbers, numbers will decide outcome. Very simple, as if it is some sort of a class 2 mathematics. Today, Hindi imperialism has taken over media. There may be some other medias here and there, but by and large, we are talking volumes here, pie share.
Yes.
They have more or less taken over. They have taken over WhatsApp, Facebook India office especially. So who to mute, who to ban, who to block, which hate speech is allowed, which is not hate speech but is considered hate speech and removed. All of these are subtle questions, and which have huge impact on society in opinion formation. Okay. They have practically taken over all kinds of security forces, including the army. BSF, CISF, CRPF, army. Practically. Okay. Not by law, but in practice. Courts at the highest level. Okay. Academia. Okay. I am not even coming to the question of EVM. Bureaucracy. See, there is one thing to be, let's say that somebody is in power, so you will say, okay, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes. That is one thing. This neo-Hindi imperialist project has an ideological element to it. That makes it dangerous. That makes it dangerous. 2024 is very crucial, because if 2024 BJP is able to hold, then with all this jacking they have done of the union system, add on that the 2026 redistribution of states according to latest population figures. Non-Hindi states will become permanent slaves of Hindi imperialism. Blueprint is clear. The question is, will we just look? In 2021, Bengal was under siege in its fort, and the enemy was beaten back. In Tamil Nadu, it was not under siege, but still fort was strong. It is one thing to defend fort, and it is another thing to join force to capture the imperial center. Very different things. So for that, at least we need one candidate against one BJP candidate, at least, see that, or BJP allied candidates. That is the minimum thing. Without that, first of all, just BJP, if you forget the EVM part, if you contest straight contest, fair contest, then at least you need one candidate against BJP. One viable candidate. So the run up to 2024 has to be that. That is the main thing. That is what I have to ensure. If that is ensured, BJP will be defeated in the votes. But what I told you earlier about the state capture, I am not so sure BJP will be defeated in vote results. Being defeated in the pressing of the EVM and being defeated in the results of the EVM, there is a difference. And if in 2024 Hindi imperialist BJP is defeated, I hope that the first decision that the new government has to take is to scrap EVM. See, recently, remember in USA, Trump was saying, I am winner, etc. All of this was going on. But at the end of the day, the sanctity of democracy is maintained by one thing, not by EVM, but by having, let's say, a piece of paper on which the votes are there, various candidates, and the stamp is on a certain symbol, and two people, at least two people, with differing ideologies and party affiliation, agreeing that that vote went to that person. Agreeing. Essence of democracy, soul of democracy is not disagreement. It is agreement that this vote went to that person. Without doubt, the agreement. So you hold up the paper, sign is here. So Trinamool got this vote, or DMK got this vote, or CPM got this vote, whatever. CPM person also agrees, Trinamool person also agrees that such and such party got the vote. That single vote. That is the unit of democracy, right? Now that has been erased under the question of fast publication of result. We want correct result. We do not want fast result. So while you ask whether it is possible or not, it is eminently possible. But there is another question though. If BJP is defeated, you also said, right, that Hindi states are also getting oppressed by Delhi. No, sir. Hindi states may be in a state of oppression. But without imperialism, they would be in a worse state of oppression. Delhi is there to take money from non-Hindi states and subsidize them. And this is being done in a massive way under BJP. You see the latest Finance Commission terms of reference. They are changing the population axis from 1971 to 2011. So cowbell knows who will stand for them, and that is the dangerous part. India is a union of nationalities. It was never a majoritarian nationality question. It is almost going towards that edge. That is why I said, if in 2026 they manage to do that, then you and I are permanent slaves. Does that mean that we will be hopeless? We will just sit? No. We will fight on. We will fight on. Karl Marx had given a very interesting analogy. I'm not a Marxist, but one learns from everybody. That one has to be like a mole. Okay. That it is always there, not too far from the surface. But if the situation is right, so that to able to be at the surface right when it is needed. This economic distress is a new factor which Hindi imperialism did not think about. See, this GST will become a crisis, by the way, let me tell you, in the coming years. It will become a fiscal crisis between states. Not so easy. See, Baniyas know only how to loot. They are not into balancing budget or production of wealth. They are into looting of wealth. So that will come home to roost. And very sadly, India is now isolated in Asia. Very sadly, whatever Delhi channels tell you, that is the reality. As a superpower, USA is decreasing. So at this moment, what is needed is an Indian government formed through the full cooperation of all Indian nationalities, not imperialism. If we have to withstand this crisis, I do not hope Delhi will understand in its present form. So we will have to unite, not to make them understand. They are not our boss. We will have to try to take over. And that is the fight.
As you have mentioned, in your press release that the 2024 electoral war is not only for capturing Delhi, but to retrieve the rights that you have lost to the union, starting from the mining, fisheries, everything. We have to retrieve that. That will be our motto, and that should be our motto. You have mentioned that, and you have also.
I'll tell you why this is very crucial.
Mm.
See, 2026, if you really look by demographic principle, okay, your vote and my vote should count the same. If somebody gives a logic, that why should a UP person's vote count less than a Tamil person's vote?
Mm.
Why should in UP 3 lakh people, I'm just giving numbers, 3 lakh people uh, uh, give 1 MP, and in Tamil Nadu 1 lakh people give 1 MP? It's logical. But the problem is this logic of uniform democratic principle comes from the model of monolingual nation states. It comes from the logic of monolingual nation states, where a Tamil in Erode and a Tamil in Coimbatore and a Tamil in Chennai is a Tamil. So you can say a Tamil is a Tamil is a Tamil. But you cannot say an Indian is an Indian, because they are not only Indian, they are also Tamil, they are also Bengali, they are also Hindustani.
Yes.
That is the difference, right?
Right.
1947 marked and the numbers, proportional numbers marked a chukti, as in marked a treaty between the nationalities.
Yes.
We often forget who made the constitution. Who made the constitution? The constitution was made by the Constituent Assembly. Who was sitting in the Constituent Assembly? Representatives of states, not directly elected. We must remember, not directly elected. So if we talk in present terms, Lok Sabha did not make the constitution. Rajya Sabha made the constitution. Indirectly elected by the state assemblies.
Yes.
Based on state issues.
Yes.
Very important. We must remember this foundational question. People who were being elected to the provincial assembly, they sent their representative to the imperial legislature to form later the Constituent Assembly. So it is a union of states for that reason. Not because Nehru Gandhi thought it should be a union of states. So who are they to think? You know? Because that is how it was formed. States, people, representative of states got together. Non-uniform states. If they were uniform, you do not need a union. You know?
Yes.
Now the question is, after this has happened, because the federalism question at that point of time had a faction within the Congress, especially the non-Hindi part. But strangely, the federalism part was also, due to their own communal interest, though in a very different sense, was espoused by the Muslim League. They also wanted federalism. They wanted federalism for different reasons. They wanted that the one center which is more Hindu dominated should not be able to dictate everything to places where Muslims are majority. That is the main reason. Because they are thinking through that communal Hindu-Muslim angle. But that does not negate the federalist principle. So when Muslim League is out of the game through Pakistan, then the Hindi imperialist part, people who cannot survive without Delhi because they live on the fact that Delhi has to extract from non-Hindi states and feed them, they become suddenly proportionally very high in numbers. So they create their constitution where, by their majority, where union list, concurrent list, state list, most important things go to union list, and most things which actually require a lot of money to be done is in the state list. Most methods by which money is earned is in the union list. Okay. And in the concurrent list are things which slowly have taken from 47 to 2021. They have slowly taken things a concurrent list, and the future Delhi has captured through exclusively giving the union the residual powers, which means whatever emerges in the future. Non-Hindi people should be very conversant not only about the word of the constitution, but also the background and context of the constitution and the power politics in play behind the constitution. Between the lines they have to read, So, since then this has happened. In 26, where the seat redistribution has to happen, they basically then Hindi imperialism wants a full capture. That if that happens, in 2026, then after 2026, you will never be able to talk about some opposition, etc. Nothing. They will divide and rule. They will choose one Nobin Patnaik. They will choose one EPS, OPS. That is how they will play with the non-Hindi states then. It will be a complete disaster. But if major non-Hindi states like Maharashtra, Punjab, Tamil Nadu and Bengal, very important. Why did I say these four? These are the four engines of economy in north, south, east, west. Okay. If these unite and oppose the center on this question, then one of the negotiation points can be that, okay, you're talking about democracy, one person, one vote and same value, okay. But then, what does that mean, one person, one vote? It means whatever the concurrent list and union list is there, all the subjects, UP will decide more. UP and Bihar will decide the reality of Bengalis and Tamils through this. That is what it means. And will decide it to a much greater extent than they do at present. If the seats are redistributed. So one question can be, one negotiation point can be, okay, we non-Hindi states, major non-Hindi states agree to your seat redistribution, but 2 points. You have to devolve power so that UP, Bihar's greater power affects lesser things. So this had a quid pro. You increase your Hindi seat numbers. You increase your Hindi seat numbers. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
And we retake almost all powers that should naturally belong to a state. So that their earlier numbers, their higher numbers, which they have created through uncontrolled population, and I think it's a scheme. It is a game plan, long-term game plan. So that effect of uncivilized behavior does not come on civilized people. It is very simple. So that we can protect our social justice gains, our progressive homelands, at least some aspiration to a brighter future. We do not want the Bengali mean to be measured by how better you are from UP. I want that the Bengali in West Bengal should measure his way of lifestyle being. How does he stand in the world? What is this Bihar UP standard? They want to drag us there. We will not be dragged. But 2026 is very crucial for that reason. So you take that. But everything except external affairs, external defense and currency you give to states, including residual powers. One. And number two, because these are cunning people. Now we have to change the bar and say for constitutional amendment 75% of vote is needed. A little more cushion now. But the problem is how uncivilized these areas are. In 10 years, they will get to 75%. So at some level, we need real structural protection, which simply cannot be countermanded by numbers from Delhi, MP Rajasthan, and UP, Bihar, and their high children number and this uncontrolled population. That is, in the long term, a huge important question.
Thank you for your time and cooperation. Thank you for this interview, sir. Thank you.
Vajga Tamil, Joy Bangla.